evening to you. It's great being here with you. It's not my first time at the Novena. I've been here several times before, but it's the first time they've let me out in public. So we'll see how we go. As Derek said, my name is Tony Rice from Belfast. I'm a member of the community here in Dundalk and have been for over a year, but I wouldn't be seen around the place very much because of the ministries that I have. I'm working on part of the parish mission team and I work in vocations as well. And both of those jobs take me to lots of different parts around the country. But it's good to be here with you for these 9 days. The focus of our novena this evening is a time for letting go of fear. A time for letting go of fear. There was a woman who had to do a lot of long-distance travelling for her job. She had to fly a lot. But unfortunately, she was incredibly afraid of flying. And she had a few little tricks to calm herself when she got afraid of the plane. And one of them was to bring a Bible with her. And when she was getting a little bit nervous, she'd take out the Bible and read a few passages, and it would relax her. This one time she found herself sitting next to a man who, when he saw her taking out the Bible and reading it, laughed and said to her, "You don't really believe everything that's written in that book, surely?" And she said, "I do. It's the Bible." "Okay," he said. "What about that man who got stuck in the whale and survived? Surely you don't believe that?" "I do," she said. "It's in the Bible." "Well, how do you explain," he asked her, "how do you explain that he was able to survive so long inside the belly of a huge whale?" "Well, I don't know," she said. "But when I get to heaven, I'll ask him." And he said to her, "Well, what do you do if he's not in heaven?" She laughed, and she said, "Well, then you can ask him." Letting go of fear. Roger is a man who has a lot of varied interests. He writes books and poetry and travels all around the world. I read one of his books recently, and in it he tells the story of one of these trips. He took a group to the Himalayas in Asia. You know, where we find Everest and K2, the highest mountains in the world. And he took a group trekking up these mountains. Parts of the route that they took were so dangerous, so treacherous, on the bus and on foot. And as they went higher and higher up these mountains, Roger's headaches became more and more serious. In fact, it got so bad that he got lightheaded, he got nauseous, and he was vomiting. He was suffering from altitude sickness, and he couldn't continue. He was literally knocked off his feet. And that meant that the other leader of the group, there was only 2 of them leading this group, was left totally responsible for the rest of the trip, and for all the other members, about 20 of them, and most of them were women. He said, Roger says, over a few days, I went from being the intrepid leader who brought groups all over the world to being the weakest link in the whole group. And he struggled with that experience. He was embarrassed. He was ashamed of himself for getting sick, for being weak. He says, it was impossible for me to pretend that I could cope, much less be a leader, when everyone could see me flat on my back. But the other members of the group began to visit him in the tent. They'd bring him water, make sure he was okay, and tell him stories from the different treks they had that day. They made no fuss about the fact that he was unwell. They accepted him as he was. And eventually, he began to be able to accept it himself. He began to see that freed from the role, freed from this pressure to be the leader, to be perfect, free from that pressure, he could actually enjoy the kindness and the warmth of the other people in the group. Letting go of all of that pressure, which was coming from himself, he could enjoy the community that was built up in the group. His great fear had not been realized. I'm sure some of you have been on trips to